Congressman, I've said on this air and elsewhere, I think his tweets, when he gets a particularly off subject and gets personal and punches down, I think they're bad news. They get him off his agenda.
Well, he's ill-suited, Neil, if you think that. He constantly renders the tweets.
But, Congresswoman, that doesn't mean that I say, all right, you're out as president. Let the American people decide that in the next election.
The American people have decided his polling numbers are down under 40%. He's 36% or 35%.
I can remember when Ronald Reagan polled in the 30s, Congressman. I can remember.
But Ronald Reagan was a commander-in-chief, and he was attempting to run the government.
My point is, if you go by polling numbers or snapshots, at times, of course, we would have never seen Ronald Reagan reelected.
I am going by his behavior and the fact of whether he is suited.
All right, that went well, but we saved time talking over one another. All right, well, welcome, everyone. I've got my buddy Ben Stein with us right now to read on this course, a former advisor to President Nixon, just an all-around genius, phenomenal writer. Let me get your take, Ben, on now this new move on the part of a couple of dozen Democrats. Now, she wasn't clear whether she's among them. To invoke the 25th Amendment, say the president's incapacitated, and get him out of there. What do you think of that?
Well, why don't they say that Mika Brzezinski is incapacitated or Joe Scarborough is incapacitated? I mean, look, these two people, Brzezinski and Scarborough, day after day dish out the most nasty, condescending, absolutely contemptuous remarks to President Trump. It's not surprising when he strikes back. I don't like it. I wish he didn't do it. I'm with you. I think it's off message. I think it's undignified. It's beneath the office of the president. I don't blame him for doing it, though. He's a human being. At the end of the day, Neil, we're all human beings. Even big, powerful people who are in the White House are human beings. And the idea of saying that because he used intemperate language, that makes him insane is crazy. If everyone who used intemperate language was insane and incapacitated, there'd be nobody left to run the country. Everybody would be in mental hospitals.
All right, I hope it's in that spirit that you read my next tweet I just sent out about you. But let me get a sense from you, Ben, where this is going. Because, you know, we talk back and forth, should he tweet or should he not tweet? My argument with this stuff, and I think you kind of touched on it, is absolutely, they've said some awful things about him, and no one ever talks about that. They've said all the things about his female press spokesman, and no one talks about that. That's fine. That's funny. So I readily agree with that. But I do think that every minute it's discussed is a minute less to vote on the health care rework, to vote on the tax cuts, some of these things you like, some of you don't like, but no one is talking about them right now, and that worries me.
It is true that he goes way off message, but that's who he is. I mean, that's why he got elected.
You're right.
Because he's a human being who's got big stone cojones, and he fights back when people attack him. And I agree. I don't like the fact that he talks that way. I think it
do you think it's hurt his agenda, though? Regardless of whether he has the right to do it or not, but that this is pushing things back.
I don't think it affects his agenda one bit. I don't think it affects his agenda one bit. Look, I watched C-SPAN last night. I watched the congressman talking. None of them is talking about this. They're all talking about serious subjects. It doesn't derail his agenda at all.
You were watching C-SPAN last night?
Yeah, I was. Is that okay?
Well, because FBN had a lot of good shows on. I find it curious.
That was a mistake on my part. I'll never do it again. I will never do it again.
I'm sending out a really nasty tweet.
I'll never do it again.
Ben
but look,
Stein
Ms. Jackson Lee is entitled to
sad. All right, so.
Ms. Jackson Lee has. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please finish that thought. Finish that thought.
Now, Ms. Jackson Lee has the right to quote any polling numbers she wants. The only polling numbers that counts are the ones on Election Day, and by those, he won handily. So people like what he's doing, and the fact that he's intemperate occasionally makes him, in a way, more charming. I mean, FDR said some very intemperate things about people in the world. My father knew and was friends with Harry Truman. He used to say very intemperate things. I was friends with Richard Nixon. My God, did he say intemperate things. But on the other hand, he got a hell of a lot accomplished. The fact that a person says intemperate things does not mean he's insane.
Fair enough.
Does not mean that he's
incompetent. But we do have it. You know, you're a great historian, I'm a lawyer. Now, this 25th Amendment. I mean, it was started, I think, in '67 to deal with the issue of a few years after John Kennedy's assassination about presidents who are incapacitated or worse, or you know, they fall into a stroke situation where, like Woodrow Wilson or Franklin Roosevelt. I don't remember the origins of it, but bottom line...
He was never incapacitated until he died. The second, FDR, he was perfectly competent until the day he died.
All right, then I stand corrected. But that's worthy of another nasty tweet. But do I look at that as something that they could do here? Doesn't it require a majority of the cabinet and the vice president to go along?
I don't know what the rules of it are, but there's no chance of it happening whatsoever. And Ms. Jackson Lee is just blowing smoke somewhere. And if she's talking about this, and she has her own constituency to please, and they want to hear her saying incredibly nasty things about President Trump.
All right.
And President Trump has his constituency to please. We all just want to please our constituency.
All right. Well, enjoy C-SPAN. Very good seeing you again, my friend. You're the best. You're the best and the brightest. All right, Ben Stein.